What you're about to hear is the funniest Key Africans Unlocked episode we've recorded so far, featuring as our guest one of the dopest fellas I know, even if I end up being the butt of many of his jokes when I'm around him. Mbeu Kambuwa, popularly known as Snooze, is as real as they come. If you've seen him on stage wearing African outfits that just scream out at you, then you know you're in for something different. He's a Malawian brother based in Johannesburg who's enjoying great success as a stand-up comedian. He's the guy that famously won the Comedy Central Grab the Mic talent competition. He does have a day job in advertising where he's enjoying equal success with a bunch of awards there too. Zubz and I caught up with Snooze recently, and we probably have to put out a disclaimer. Some of the content in this episode is for mature audiences. Great.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So I have to project.
No, man, yeah.
Not at all. Alright. Can you hear yourself?
I can.
Barry Whiting it. 1 2 1 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good to go.
Yeah.
You got the
Tell
fancy
us.
mic.
I got that dope.
He's got the studio mic.
I got that dope
Oh,
mic.
okay. That's how it works.
Dope mics
I
for
see
the
who's
dope
running the show.
dudes. Wait, hold up.
I see who's running the show.
I need to get as close to you as I possibly can.
If he had his way, this would be the golden mic.
Yeah.
It's the dope mics for the dope
This is
dudes.
Donald right here. He
Which
brought his
Donald?
own mic.
Which Donald? Is
No,
Donald
South
Trump
African,
or?
South African Donald.
Does he bring his own Donald I deserve?
Oh,
Yeah.
the Donald.
Does he bring his own mic?
Hey, he's a smart guy. He knows. He wants
Yeah.
to sound the way he wants to sound.
Exactly.
All right, cool, man. I'm gonna clap it as soon as this plane kind of flies over. Is there an airstrip nearby? Okay, go for it.
So there's a mic called a Shure SM7B, the best microphone to use for vocals and pods ever. Michael Jackson used it to record Thriller.
Okay.
That's a mic you want to be on.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's the mic you're on.
No, you're lying, man.
He was setting you up.
You're lying.
That is.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
It's serious.
I'm Michael right now.
You're Michael right now. You're MJ.
No.
Let me test it out. Let me test. Oh, snap. Perfect. I'm thrilling.
Perfect.
I'm thrilled.
Yo, Quincy
Thrilling
Jones is out there going.
Michael's like, that's my mic.
Yeah, he's up in heaven.
That's
Someone
my
saying,
mic.
God, 1 second. I think somebody ate down there. Shimona.
Okay, I'm clapping.
Dude, I like you. I like you already. I think we're gonna have a.
I've clapped it, so we're starting.
Oh, okay.
I'll clap it again just for safety.
The truth is,
guys
we've been
think you're
recording this
funny
thing.
because he's funny.
I actually
happened?
thought my
You see
Michael
what
Jackson
happened?
moment
Shade.
was pretty damn like.
We're in the sun, but someone's throwing shade. I love it.
All right.
No comeback.
You should get your own pod.
Key Africans Unlocked. We're here with a man who told me when I was texting him and he asked me how I'm doing and I said fabulous. And he said, men do not say fabulous.
No. Say
as
the
a
whole thing. I
response.
said there's 2 words men don't say.
Yeah.
Fierce and fabulous. This guy said he's how you doing, Chilu? I'm fabulous.
That's how I was feeling at the time, Anyway, Snooze is here with us. You'll learn a lot more about him. I've known Snooze probably more about 2 years,
2
I
years,
suppose.
yeah.
Yeah. We met in a recording session for a brand that he works on, and I voice. So we need to. We're gonna dive deep into advertising because you're deep in the industry, and we want to get some of that. But Snooze, what else do you want to know about him? He's originally from Malawi. He's based in Johannesburg.
Yep.
He is a comedian.
Yep.
But he's also like a fascinating gentleman who just got like a bunch of knowledge and. Your observations about life are fascinating. So good to have you on Key Africans Unlocked.
Thank you. Good to finally be here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while trying
We've
to get
been
you.
talking about this for a long time.
guys?
It's a thing.
Yeah, no. Remember, we were trying to get him on for like weeks or months ago, and it just wasn't happening. But
To make it sound like I was running away. I was like, what's good? What's good?
It did feel like you were running away,
I
actually.
never. I only ran away from home affairs and those guys. Other than that, I know Chilu Zambian. I ain't scared. Here's the thing about Chilu. Chilu never messages you. He always wants to remind you he's a voiceover artist.
How do you mean?
He sends voice notes like, "What's up, Snooze? It's Chilu here. I'm just out here feeling fabulous.
Yeah, having a fierce day.
Come on, having a fierce day. Why don't you come to my My
You're
scrumptious
wrong.
podcast.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
You know, the last message Chilu actually sent me on WhatsApp was a voice note.
Exactly. I told you.
He prefers to send voice notes.
I'm like, oh, this guy's mad.
I've got a reason for that.
This
It's
guy's
not
rehearsing.
even an egotistical thing. I'm most of the time on the road. So I'm being a decent guy by not trying to text while I'm driving, you know. So the voice
So you'd
note
rather
is-
hold the phone to your face.
No, man. How do you know? Maybe it's
then-
like on. It might be on a what you call it on a
The
on
Uber,
a cradle.
the
on a-
Uber joint.
Yeah, you know the Uber joint. You know what I mean? And then I just
careful,
kind of like
mistake.
Bixby activate voice note.
Dude, welcome to Key Africans Unlocked, man.
Hey, it's good to be here, guys.
It's good to have
So what
you, man.
happens here? Tell me, what's
So,
going on?
What we do out here is very simple. We basically try to connect with people who we think are doing excellent things in their field.
Oh, nice.
That would be you. And then we get them to just share with us their perspective on stuff. So we love the fact that you're a copywriter. We love the fact that you're an extremely funny guy and your comedy is hilarious. But what we really try to unwrap is what's behind the comedy, what's behind the copywriting. How does your brain work? How do you see things? So we never really ask you anything in particular. It just tends to come out
Oh,
as we
we
go
just
along.
flow.
So we just flow with it. bro.
Freestyle off the top of the
Freestyle.
dome.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's cool,
Isn't
man.
it off the dome? Is it off the top of the dome?
It has to be the top of the dome because you can't trust the stuff at the bottom.
So
but
That's why Drake started there. Now he's here.
Now
you know,
he's-
he was like, I
he
can't-
started at the bottom,
He started at
now.
the bottom. He was like, nah, I can't
Now he
trust
can- he
those.
can go
Nah,
off the top.
I can't trust these thoughts. These are wild thoughts. I need to go to the top.
when you said thoughts, I was thinking of the other connotation of the word thoughts. So it's, that's something else.
Yeah, that's
do
what
you
I meant.
do you feel pressure as a comedian to anytime you're in a social environment be funny?
Nope. I realize you actually have to try not to be funny, and then that's when you'll be funny.
That's when you're at your
Yeah, because when you're trying too hard at shows, and then it's just you're just weird, and then people don't laugh, then you feel insecure. But if you're just doing your thing, you know, just do your thing, just talk, because that's where it comes from, right? It comes from like when you're just talking with your mates, and you guys say, "Oh, you're funny." Then when you make this decision that I'm going to be funny,
all of a sudden.
then you become this other thing, and people are like, "But why? Why did you not do the thing?"
That's interesting because it's the same with us, you know, like when we create music, when someone puts you on the spot and says, I want you to write a verse about this, that, and the 14th, and this, can you do it by 3? It's like,
Nah, that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's just like,
you can
you
tell.
know,
you can
I
tell
will
what
give it to you, but
Yeah.
like, that's not how I.
You can tell what a commissioned song sounds like, and they're off-putting. Like, okay, the agenda for the song was set out before it started, and you know,
That's yeah.
How would,
Commission
you,
art.
how would you describe yourself?
As a person or as a
person,
just as a person. I don't know. I think I'm an observer. That's what I do. So what I do is I observe a lot of things, and then I use my craft and my storytelling abilities to kind of hold a mirror to society. And then the best way to engage people is through jokes. So that's how I keep people listening. And even with my advertising, most of the stuff that I do tends to be funny. I come from a funny family. So jokes are the easiest way to observe human truths. Every joke has got a truth at the center of it. And that's why
true.
it's funny.
You're
So,
absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm an observer.
But even say in the ad space, even though you do have like concepts that are hilarious and they make their way onto TV, radio, whatnot, you're also sometimes forced to do stuff that's just like, you know, boring.
Keep going.
Not really boring, but you know, stuff that isn't hilarious, just stuff
Yeah,
day-to-day stuff.
That's the thing with advertising. So like you get the creatives that just want to push stuff out, right? And they want to just get the brief and then do what the client tells them.
Yeah.
But I've got a theory, right? When you go to the doctor and you say, "Oh my God, my leg hurts. I feel like I need a circumcision," the doctor goes, "No, what you need is a headache pill," right?
Yeah.
You can't diagnose yourself and give yourself the medication. Go to an expert and and tell them what they must give you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I do. I always sit with the brief and look at what the problem is, and I push to say, no, what you want is actually not what you need.
Yeah.
This is what you need.
Yeah.
And then I try and,
And,
make it.
and in terms of prep for that, did you go to like ad school? Were you at
Yeah, I went to
AAA,
ad
Vega?
school. I went to
Where'd you
Vega,
go?
Vega in Durban.
Oh, okay.
That didn't last for too long. No, I'm playing. No, I did the whole graduation thing. Woo, it was hella white though. You realize that's the other thing with
Yeah,
our industry.
yeah.
It's very white.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the work, especially when they're talking to the black market. So there's room for growth in that space. But yeah, I went to school. Then I interned straight after that. Got my first job straight after that. Worked at Ogilvy, FCB, Hardy Boys, TBWA, all the big agencies. And the thing about advertising and what makes great advertisers is you gotta like learn your craft, and then you gotta freestyle. Because you have to be human.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're making
there's
a brand
foundation,
talk.
in other words, first of all, has to be set. Because, and I'm going to use like, it's a very different maybe example, but it might play into what you're saying. I know a guy who's a presenter. He's a famous guy, so I won't mention his name.
Now I have to know.
I won't say Kenny
Give
Maestri.
us clues.
You know, I won't say Kenny Maestri, but Kenny... Kenny said
oh
this
my
to me
God,
some
you
time
killed
ago.
Kenny.
No, man, because of what I'm going to say.
He didn't get it.
Not that guy. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
okay,
ahead.
yeah. Kenny told me this. He said when you are in radio, if you can get into quote unquote a white station and get that discipline, but then go to a black station, you will flourish because you've got the fundamentals. You've got, a lot of the quote unquote black stations, from his view at the time, were freestyling. Whereas if you
I thought that's what we were doing now.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I'm on a black station.
Doesn't get any blacker than this, man.
Sorry, I'm allowed to.
Why you done?
Alright, you guys want to bleep that out.
Yeah, so similarly, so what you're saying is go to ad school, get all that fundamental stuff sorted.
Sit with the white people, learn his ways. Be nice, yes massa, no massa. Learn his tricks of the trade, and then use that shit against him. Judo. No, but I'm being serious because it's true. Like, we just did a campaign. You know the Lures is coming up.
Oh yeah.
So I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm probably going to win gold. Okay.
Yeah.
But we just did a campaign where it's people are talking about it a lot. And I don't want to like name drop it because I don't want to mess it up before it gets judged. But basically the concept was usually when people write in vernac, because I do write in vernac, they tend to just say black things funny. There's no big idea.
Yeah.
What I've learned from the way white people do things is always like a thing, like a
with
big idea that...
With anchors, yeah.
Exactly. Ooh. And when something is that strong, you can do it again and again and again and again and again and again. Whereas if you do like a once-off thing, it works once and then you can't do it again because it was just a thing, But they come up with things. So,
and so sometimes they appropriate payoff lines, like I'm thinking of the Ioba, MTN.
Yes,
then says, okay, that's cool, but then we're gonna make that a big idea.
They literally sit there and say, what do blacks say? Ioba. What does Ioba have anything to do with cell phone networks or whatever? You know what I mean? Ioba. Oh, okay, cool.
So, okay, well, you've been very successful with these awards and stuff, so big up on that.
Thank you.
And it's great to have someone like you on the inside who can then break it down to us. Like now you said, there's always a big idea behind. There's always something more to it.
Yeah.
Why do you think that approach to speaking to us is different? Do you think inherently we understand advertising and marketing differently? Do you think it's to do with how we're educated? Do you think it's how we communicate when we're speaking in vernac and in African languages?
Yeah.
What do you think that difference is about?
I think it happens at a management level from the clients. So the guys that, unfortunately, the sad truth is that the guys that sit at the top, it's usually old white males or females that are so detached from the market. They don't know the person that they're selling stuff to. Mm-hmm. And they assume that because this person cannot speak English, that they are stupid.
Right.
That's the biggest mistake you can make. Because I might be dumb in English, but I'm smart in like Chewa. My language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So we've had scenarios where we're sitting in a boardroom and it's like white people, right? Mm-hmm. You're presenting this campaign for black people. Mm-hmm. You are the only black person in the room, right? This is like for an affluent brand, right? And you present this thing and it's fire, right? The client looks at you and goes, I don't know. Let's get a second opinion. Mavis, come. How does this make you feel about? Would you go out and buy a Mercedes? What does Mavis know about Mercs? Do you know what I mean? Already, like that's literally what they do. They'll literally you send them a campaign, and the client would be like, I showed this to the tea lady, and she doesn't get the concept. And I'm like, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing. So we tend to fall in the same tried and tested formulas of dancing blacks and words like Ayoba. But the good thing about what's happening now is that we're trying to get out of that thing. People are trying to be the opposite of my name, Snooze, which is woke. They're trying to be woke and they're trying to kind of explore different ideas and concepts, and it's cool. Some exciting stuff is gonna come out soon.
When I used to work, sorry, I probably worked at an ad agency, like many years ago, 2001, 2002.
Before the Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, and I faced the same thing. So there was a bank at the time which was just about to put up a sponsorship for the Premier League, the local one. And I'm not saying any names, you know what I mean? I'm not saying. And there we are in the boardroom. And so this whole football concept is presented, whatnot. Then, what do you think, Chilu? Because I'm the only black guy in there, and because I'm obviously then, the target market, the sounding board,
like a chicken drumstick. You were just a stereotype.
Watermelon on the side, So I'm glad to hear that it's evolving, and because you're saying that things are changing.
Yeah, because the other thing is it's like now there's things like Black Twitter. So like
ramifications are real, bro.
Yeah, that's punishing brands, dude. Like you come out and you say something stupid, and now people are like, I don't know. Hashtag not in my name. Send. They're like, it's a problem.
I think it's important to understand that irony, metaphor, tongue-in-cheek are not language specific. They're not even culture specific. Some of us have been telling our own histories for centuries using metaphor and symbolism, similes, just not in English. They were just not called similes. They were not called metaphor, and they were not called tongue-in-cheek.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of where we lose each other in the advertising industry, where people assume that just because you're talking to people ekasi or you're talking to a black person, they're not going to understand when you're actually saying it tongue-in-cheek. And it's like, nah, but it doesn't quite have the same ring. And a lot of our idioms are different to slightly more sort of Western idioms. So, one man's meat is another man's poison is not necessarily going to mean the same thing literally translated, you know? And I think that's kind of where we lose each other at that level.
There's an artist, and I had this conversation with somebody in Zambia. There's an artist who had a song, and he says, in Bemba, Mumaboko Yanshita, which means the hands of time. But literally translated, it doesn't make sense, because in English it makes sense, It's the hands of time. So it says Mumaboko Yanshita, which is the hands of. But he's saying literally, but then if you translate it into Bemba, hands don't have. Well, time doesn't have hands. You know what I mean? So it's like a weird thing of like trying to quickly translate something, and it doesn't work.
I think it's also like we owe it to each other, because unfortunately that's not unfortunate, but like we live in such a mixed culture that we should be able to kind of bring Gamla's white people into our thinking and like say, guys, this is actually how the language works. It's actually a very beautiful thing when you sit down and look at it. And I think even they themselves, because what happened was I was also at I was lucky enough to go to Cannes, I think maybe some 2 years ago, and entered Vernac there that actually won. And what they do was they'll look at the idea and the concept and where it comes from, and they love the fact that it was based off, the whole thing was about your phone dying, and I used that song Amagugu to tell the story. And they love the fact that, oh cool, this is an African insight. So there's actually an appetite for it, especially internationally. I mean, that's why you see a lot of the guys like Ladysmith Black Mambazo and Freshly Clown and those guys. They do well overseas because people are actually interested in our stories. I think it's here where we tend to undermine ourselves, and we kind of
it's that whole struggle narrative where we othered each other from a historic trauma that we struggle to get over because we just don't want to engage as humans. We want to engage with all this clutter around it. Ultimately, we're just people. It's not that deep, guys. Can we all just stop with the whole tiptoeing and let's get to connecting already.
Brother,
it's time.
Brother, you need to decolonize your mind.
Wakanda. So I wanna go. I wanna step away from advertising, jump into your comedy for a little bit. Why do you call yourself Snooze, by the way? Because that is the opposite of woke.
No, but this is the worst. It's the dumbest story, and it's stuck. I need to find a way to make the story funny. Okay, just spoiler alert. It's gonna be it's a letdown. Okay, but basically,
Oh yeah,
growing
you're
up,
right.
growing
That's
up.
so lit. Go ahead.
God, what a waste of time. No, I used to, I used to go to school. Yeah, and English was like one of my favorite subjects. But I found it to be easy. I don't know. I just, you always have that subject that you're good at.
Just have a knack.
I had a knack for English. It's like I knew I was going to do this advertising thing. So anyway, I'd go to English and I'd sleep because most of the stuff I'd already know, or because I was also, the part I left out, I was also a dumb kid. So I always used to go to extra school, right? So I'd covered all the stuff. So I'd go in and I'd sleep. So the one time I went in and I slept, and then when I woke up, everyone was writing a test. Everyone was like this. And there was like 20 minutes left, and I was like, oh shit, the teacher was like hacks. Like, yeah, you're gonna learn. So I write this test. Fast forward like the week later. Now teachers used to be spicy. They always hand out like first who got the highest mark and then to the point. And I got the highest mark. So people are like, but ma'am, he was snoozing. And then that's how it stuck.
That's a killer story, though.
That's a stupid story.
No, but it's
I got the name because I was sleeping. I wanted to be something cool, like, because I'm the stuff of dreams. You know what I mean?
So you
'Cause I take
slept
your
your way
lady
to an
to
A,
bed,
basically.
Yeah.
You're that lazy guy.
I slept my way to an A.
You slept.
And not with the teacher. Not with the teacher.
And I'm glad we're having a conversation among men, because if there was anyone here and they said you slept your way to an
I slept my way to a fierce A, a fabulous,
A, fierce and fabulous,
fabulous A.
It'll be a different kind of. The guy who gets A's in English and F's everywhere else. He's too busy being. Okay, so back to the comedy. Do you feel, and you said earlier on that, hey man, the insecurities thing. Do you feel like comedians in general are an insecure bunch? Inherently more so than the average artist?
Well, that's a tough question. Do I sell out
This
my
is not
fellow
personal
comedians?
to you.
Or do I?
Sell them out.
I'm not insecure. You're insecure. Sorry, that just came on. No, I don't know if I wouldn't say insecure, because you have to be very brave to go up on stage, and like public speaking is one of the biggest fears. But I think most comedians are misfits. Misfits in that they don't socialize well. The comedians get along with other comedians, and out of that, I'm sure you guys have met comedians that are just weird. Like I remember meeting
Every comedian I've ever met is weird.
they're just socially weird. But it's this thing. It's that thing where it's like you're just prone to observe, and when you're observing, it's very hard to get involved. But that's where all the stories come from. It's because they're actually not in it. They're
just
observing.
they're observing, and they're
yeah.
taking everything down.
Yeah.
And then I guess because when you've got a lot of time to spend with yourself, it's either you come up with jokes or it's either you come up with jokes. So that's what you end up doing. You just start writing jokes. You start thinking about the stuff that you saw. You spin that into something creative, and then boom, there you've got a nice little sweets.
Do you
the
watch
stage.
comedians in cars getting coffee on
Oh
Netflix?
yeah, that's cool.
I love that show.
That is the easiest concept for a show. Jerry Seinfeld is
Jerry
such
Seinfeld,
a Jew.
Wow.
I probably shouldn't be saying this at Kilani. First of all, let me tell you something. Oh my god. So this guy gives me the worst directions ever. He just says,
Kilani Country Club.
meet me at Kilani Country, wear something fierce, meet me at Kilani Country Club. So I go to the golf place there. And I've been here before once. I once did jokes for it was a weird function, like at a bar mitzvah. But it's the whitest bunch of people, and I felt like I was in that scene of Get Out. I walked in and people were doing like a silent auction. They were like, I was like, baby, start the car, baby, start. We need to go. It's time to leave. Grab your things.
No, because you're saying that you're around the corner for like an hour. And
No, you know what happened?
it's
The phone
clearly
was off.
directions.
Phone was off. so-
I've got voice notes as proof, so don't come in.
You play those
I'll
things.
play them. Okay, what
Back to
happened?
comedians in
Sorry,
cars
sorry,
chasing
sorry.
coffee
Yeah.
or getting coffee, not
Gotcha,
chasing
gotcha.
coffee. Jerry Seinfeld seems to always be almost reaffirming his guest. I've realized as I've been watching the thing, almost making you see how, in order for you to be able to step in front of a crowd and mirror the audience to themselves in a funny way, a part of you almost dies in the process. Like it feels like you have to leave a part of you in the gutter somehow, like you dip into the dark side of humanity to be able to get content, to be able to show humanity their dark side so they can get over it, which just makes you this icky, dark side ridden human being, is my
Yeah.
read on it.
Yeah, and Steve Harvey said something that was quite interesting a while ago in one of his shows, and he said every comedian is born with like a third eye.
Third eye, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And the thing with that is that you see everything. You see the beauty in something, and you see the ugly, the ugly side of things. And the ugly side of things is disgusting. And some people don't see the ugly side of things. So it's your job as a comedian to get people to see that ugly side. But the thing with people is that people are very apprehensive. So you can't just like go like bam apartheid. You have to like do a funny little story, and then people go, actually that shit was fucked up.
Yeah.
What we did back in the day, you kind of have to present it like that. I think the other thing that makes comedians depressed is that no matter what happens, no matter what day you're having, when you get on the stage, it's your job to make people happy. If no one's laughing, then you haven't done your job. It's the only job where you know immediately whether you did your job.
you get your performance
You had
review
one
right
job.
It's the one you had one. It's quiet. Even the crickets are quiet. You're like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
there. What was your worst moment on stage as a comedian?
There's this outfit that I wear, right?
Well, the
African,
yeah.
the dashiki,
Yeah.
fierce little number.
You're never gonna hear the end of fierce, fabulous
got
things.
this little fabulous African jumpsuit, right? Because the other thing that I
It's
do
a
is
jumpsuit?
no, it's not a jumpsuit. It's like a little.
Oh, 'cause it's fierce. You
It's
said
fierce.
it's a
Yeah,
jump-
I had to go with.
You had to take it.
Ladies even
Yeah,
matter.
of course. You had to be
Lingo.
the baddie comedians on stage.
Had to
with
go
the
with the
jumpsuit.
Destiny's Child, lingo. Jumping. So I wear this thing because I tell stories about Malawi and where I'm from
Yeah.
and being a Malawian in South Africa, and that's kind of how I view the world. So I got to bring the audience with me. So as soon as I get on stage, they see the outfit, they're like, "Okay, cool, this is gonna be wild."
Yeah.
Get your vaccine, African flu vaccines going on, and then so the worst thing that ever happened to me was I was backstage. I was a bit turned, not gonna lie, and they're like, "Snooze, you're up in 10 minutes," and I wasn't dressed. And I'm throwing this thing on, and I put it on, and then I just hear
Oh, front or back?
the back. And as soon as I hear that, they're like, "This next guy we're bringing onto the stage is all the way from Malawi, Snooze." I literally did the whole show. I did not turn around. I was like,
So you went from turns to not
turn to not turning around. I'm like, woo! I'm telling all my jokes like this.
Yeah. That is a bad moment, bro.
Oh, guys, it was so awkward.
That's a bad.
And the whole time I'm like, I wonder if they know because I'm very like animated, because it's kind of weird when I walked off stage, like I just walked back,
moonwalk.
like it's
Moonwalk. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, like.
Yeah, exactly, on your Michael Jackson mic.
Thank
Not
you,
trying
I
to show
love
your ass. Oh, that's dope. That's
Oh,
dope.
man, that was.
But also, comedians, they're kind of okay. There are many types, but they're the guys who make you think. Like the guys who do comedy, but it's almost on a very intellectual level. So they get the laugh, but at the same time, you leave it like, wow,
That was
something to
deep.
think about.
Yeah.
And there's a distinction because the other guys then might as well be clowns, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you're there for the laugh.
I'm the other guy. So look, clowns can go on to do many great things. Look at McDonald's. That was founded by a clown. I think that thinking style of comedian comes with like maturity. So like the first outline to the first like 5 years, you're just figuring out your jokes and you in relation to the audience. Because it's a relationship. You can't just go out and belt your material. You kind of have to see how people are responding. Is it a corporate? Is it like a club gig? Because they're very different vibes. You got to learn how to command the room.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, you start to trust yourself. And then when you trust yourself, you know how to convey like the weirdest and darkest thoughts. Like I look at someone like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
If you look at his earlier stuff, it was just wacky. But you can kind of see where he was going, was evolving, and the wackiness kind of got smarter. And then like he's able to kind of take you into a serious topic and take you right out of it.
Yeah.
With the weirdest metaphors,
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And he is one of the more sort of intellectual comedians.
Yeah.
He's pretty smart with his.
He said this one thing, which with this whole men and women thing on the rise, this metaphor blew my mind. He said, one time he was doing a show, right, and it's the first time they did the show. It was a show, and it was done by a gangster in his community, right? And they do this show, and he got paid $1,000 in cash, right? And it's like back in the day. He's like 15 years old. We're talking like in the hood, right? $1,000 cash. He gets this money, and he was scared. He put it in his bag, and he had like 3 trains to catch on his way home. But it's like
I think I remember
hood
that
after
story.
hood after
Yes,
hood
yes,
after
yes,
hood.
yes,
And he said he was so scared. Everyone that looked at him, every guy that looked at him was like, yo, this guy might rob me, or this guy might want to take this from me. And he got home and he was so happy. And he said, when he thought back about it, he said, that's what it feels like to have a vagina and be a woman.
Wow.
Just walking through a space and just being threatened. And like, it's a weird thing to say. Like, of course, he throws some jokes into it.
Yeah.
But then as a guy, I was like,
No, it makes you think. Yeah. Dude, just yesterday, I mean, I'm not diverting too far. Just yesterday, I was at a Pick and Pay, and as I was walking out, a lady passes, and this guy just blatantly looks and says, "Nice body," and he thinks he's got the right to do it. And so I get irked, but
I feel like this guy was Chilu. Like Chilu was this guy. Nice body.
I wouldn't say that.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, anyway,
But I wish there was a day where the roles would swap. The ladies just be like complete dudes.
They would love for
just
us
own it.
to walk a mile in their shoes. I'm telling you, because
Hey.
they have it rough.
Nice dick.
They have it rough out here.
Nice dick shorts. You know what I mean?
What? Yeah, no, it's rough. Yeah. Do you feel like outrage culture or snowflake culture, as they're calling it over in the West, is a very real problem in your world as a comedian, where people are easily offended, where people are easily triggered. It's like you say something and then all of a sudden you're the worst person in the history of life. Yeah. Or as a comedian, do you feel like you're completely immune to that?
I think you are and you aren't, because it sucks. You want, at the end of the day, it's jokes, right? But then also, you can't just say anything, because you might incite hate speech, and someone might look up to you, or someone might actually take that and think, deeply. But also, like, we mustn't be too sensitive, otherwise the world's gonna kill you. The world's a rough place, there's bad people in the world. There's people that will say anything to you and not care. So I feel like we all need to have a teaspoon of cement and harden the F up. You know what I mean? Just be brave. Like, let's have a debate. We don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. Yeah. But let's at least talk on a level that, okay, cool. I retract my statement. You're right. You've made me see that I was wrong. Yeah.
Or if you haven't made me see I was wrong, it's like, yeah, you didn't quite convince me, but I appreciate the conversation.
I appreciate. The thing is, there's this internet culture of trolling, and it's safe. It's safe to like comment and from the comfort of your room. It's hard for me to walk up to Chilu and be like, yo, I don't like that thing that you said about it. You know what I mean?
You know what I've been doing I don't know when I started this, but if there's a comment which is negative and the guy doesn't have a profile picture, or it's like Bart Simpson or whatever, I don't even make an effort. You know what I mean? Like,
What are people comment? What are you putting out in the world that Bart Simpsons are coming after? Dude. Characters from The Simpsons.
Check the timeline, June 2017. No.
Come on, you can say anything and they'll come for you.
Yeah,
you can say, God is good,
like,
what a wonderful day today is, and they'll come for you.
Chilu's like the Kanye West of voiceover artists. He's just putting out controversial stuff. People are like, we hate you, Chilu.
Nah, man. I'm all about love and peace.
How could you wear the old South African flag?
On your way to do a voiceover. What, you didn't think we'd see you?
What did you think you didn't see? We saw you.
We saw you.
It hurts.
But dude, so this is another thing that, earlier on you said that you write in Vernac. You're originally from Malawi.
Yeah.
When did the transition
When did the Vernac happen?
Yeah, when did the Vernac happen?
I have my ways, Chilu. No, you know what the thing is? People think that you have to speak a language to write in it or to express. Like, a lot of people employ me and then they're surprised because they speak the language that I wrote the ad in, and I can't speak a word of it, right? I can write it. And the thing is, I know what I want to say. And, the funny thing about African languages is that they're very similar. So exactly. I can say something in my language and you can translate it into your language and it'll be funny. You get the metaphors because we all have this like rhythm and this like artistic way of speaking. So what I usually do is I collaborate. That's the best way to write these things. I collab. So I'd be lying to you if I said I speak the languages fluently. I work with a lot of people when I write the things. And I'm not precious. A lot of creatives are precious. They want to do something and have their name.
So
on
that
it.
when the
No.
award comes, you'd be like,
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
But I always say the proof is in the pudding. You know, if a creative is good, a creative is good. You should be able to work with whoever and wherever. That's what makes a good anything for me. Like someone who's able to collaborate and bring the best out of you. I'd rather have that person in my company than that one person that wants to do everything by themselves.
But do you have memories of Malawi? I mean, how long have you been?
No, I
away
go there
from...
all the time. Most of my family's there.
When did you
so-
initially come to South Africa?
Ooh, after apartheid, I was like, I'm gonna let the shit die down first, let the tear gas clear up, and then
And I'm jumping in.
yeah, I was crossing the border like, is it done? Is it done? Is he free? Is Nelson free? No, that was like I came in like 97, 98.
Yeah.
I think there was a World Cup happening. I don't remember which World Cup
Then
it was.
it must be France.
yeah,
98.
yeah. So it was 98. Oh, yeah, that's when the TKZ track
Oh,
was
Shimobo,
yeah, that's the one. So that was I came through during the 1888 time. Yeah, and then I've been back and forth since. Yeah.
Do you find that when you hang with family, at least, do you find that you're that awkward guy at the family meetings where everyone kind of expects you to provide light conversation, you know? Because now you've officially come out as, okay, so I'm the funny guy.
Yeah.
Or is it something you grew up
No,
with
things
in your
have changed
family?
because I got money now.
Oh, okay, so everyone laughs at everything. No, because that's the thing with family. Let me
African
tell
families,
you.
if you got money, you
Yeah,
the man.
listen. If you, and I don't know about that.
No, if you got money, you can tell your uncles to shut the fuck up. Money's talking. And then you do that. Then
So you
show
feel
them,
like
the-
once
the
now that you
logo.
got money, everyone finds you funny.
Money's talking. Yeah, because now you call the shots. Because you know African families, you can't just come home with nothing. You need to come home with like things from South Africa. You know, like Chilu, you know, like it's just me. Chilu knows.
I'm keeping zip,
Chilu-
man.
Chilu-
Family watches the pod.
And they're like, oh, Chilu's been eating money by himself. No, you have to. And then when you've got money, you are more important than other people in your family.
Nice. So they laugh at all
So you
your
just
jokes.
jump the hierarchy now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I tell my dad, no, you go to bed, Dad. Got money now.
It's interesting because I was having a conversation with my wife and she was saying something very similar. Not that, but more like, in order for you to have a seat at the table, right? And a seat at the table in the sense that in family situations, your word will always matter because you're a member of the family. But a seat at the table gives your word more clout.
Yeah.
So if you're the alcoholic in the family, then people are likely to give you less of a word.
Yeah.
But if you've actually like come to the family and helped contribute, expand, and enrich, you have a little bit more value to clout.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, that is. I mean, like I was joking about the whole thing. But like,
I know. Just saying.
To your point, just right. I think every family, you need to bring something. I think because the thing with black families is that like you're like one cousin away from poverty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you can have this lifestyle and then like your mom's brother and their kids are like, you know what I mean? It's like different. You think it's different families, which you don't see a lot in other cultures. So we gotta be close and you gotta try and bring each other up. I find most families try and like nuclear themselves. But in my family we tend to bring everyone together.
Bring everyone in. I think it's important to do that, because look, if we're all ultimately trying to make the world a better place, right? And I know some people are not doing it deliberately, but trust me, with all your actions, you're having some kind of impact. It will start with the family vibe. Yeah. If you're not going to do it in the family context,
Charity starts at home.
then forget about it. You know what I mean? Then literally forget about it.
Charity starts at home.
Speaking of home, so you're in love now, ne?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go there.
I don't want to say anything.
As he waves his ring to the world.
I got the ting. I got the ting on the
You got the
finger.
ting.
I got the ting on the finger.
I heard you earlier on, obviously talking about walking a mile in the shoes of women and nice dick, whatever it is you said earlier. How did you?
Please don't
let's
take that
start-
out of context. If someone is listening from like now, they're like, this guy just told Snooze he's got a nice dick.
No. Trust me, I don't have those problems with anyone misconstruing anything I say. They can run with whatever. How did y'all meet? Let's start there.
Okay, I have to give
No,
you
don't
guys-
worry. She's far away. She won't hear.
No, she's right. She's looking at me. You guys don't understand.
busy doing
Women have like they can hear through walls and she can hear. She probably read my thoughts and my messages. No, we met through mutual friends. It's so sad how we met. Actually, we met in a casino.
Yeah, that is rather sad.
Yeah. So,
So
what?
you at the end of the night, you were winning. You see, that's what counts.
Well, it was a gamble.
I won at the end, and I won at the end.
Yes, you did.
I took both. See what I
Correct.
did there?
Well done.
No, so what happened was
wasn't a sad
it was
encounter,
no, it
great.
was actually dope. It was my friends, we were turning up, we were in Durban. Having a good time, and the club's closed. And we're like, no, more party. And then we're like, let's go to a casino because casinos are always open.
Of course.
And then
it's
they
always
were-
sunshine in there.
Exactly. And then on the other side of Durban, they were doing the same thing. And then we kind of just all met. And then we were like, cool, let's just hang out for the night. And then I met her. And then, yeah, we've been casinoing ever since.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Eight
right.
years now, going on 9.
Big
Oh,
up.
it's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
You guys say that like you're surprised. Like, oh.
No,
no,
yeah,
no,
I like when people.
It's like an Oprah. But just because we're
okay.
guys, I mean, if I
Not a
can't say
Jerry Springer.
if I can't say fierce and I can't say fabulous and I can't say
least say,
okay, yeah.
We need to keep an eye on you. We never know.
In your industry, how well are women represented? And I'm talking the ad industry now. Back to the ad
Yeah.
industry. How
Ad
well
industry, not
yeah.
well. Not well. I think only recently, women. I mean, first of all, it starts with like you look at magazine covers and magazine ads. It's always playing on their insecurities. And then I think, and I'm guilty of it, of growing up in that school of thought where they call it toxic masculinity and all that stuff. They've got names for it now, where when you're writing a script, it's like guy drives out of the house, his wife is washing the dishes, she waves longing, like why must she be the one washing the dishes? So
That's
there's
like from Mad Men, that era, yeah.
so there's certain narratives that we kind of get stuck, and it's like in our head that we're now starting to break, and be like, women can do anything. Women can do anything, actually. So we need to start putting that in our stories and like showing it again. Yeah.
And do you find that you're able to push those kind of narratives in your space,
Yeah, I think.
or
now,
do you meet up with some serious resistance?
No. I mean, like, every now and again, you actually do. It's actually scary. There's some brands which I won't mention, but like car brands. You're selling a bakkie, you're talking to men. But I'm like, actually, it's women that decide what you're going to drive. So you'd be doing yourself a service if you spoke to the woman.
To the woman, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to this guy. He's a very interesting dude. His name is Jordan B. Peterson. He's a fascinating guy.
Okay.
Professor from the university in Toronto in Canada somewhere. And he has a very interesting take on things like that, like women in the workplace and how women are represented and equality and stuff like that. And some of the things he says resonate with me in the sense that he feels like it's great for us to acknowledge that women have been oppressed all these years and that we write them off like we do is terrible. But then it's also important to understand that as men, there's some narratives that you have to acknowledge and you have to help sort of push forward.
Yeah.
But the narrative that a woman can do everything a man can do is not one of those. The narrative that just because you're a woman, you can therefore be given the automatic right to do what a man does makes no sense. Because the original reason why a man does what he does and a woman does what she does is, because of the narrative of cultural pushing, but there's also things that you can't deny. So the physical strength of a man, for one, it will automatically skew the numbers towards more men than women being in a certain space. Advertising is not one of those spaces. Bricklaying might be. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean that's true. There's a lot of big words there. So,
Bricklaying is not a big word.
Let them simmer.
I was Googling some things.
Mental Googling.
I was like, Siri, help me, please. No, but you're right. I think it's true. It's it's some things are physical, but I mean, I think when they say women can do anything men can do, I think there's this thing that men have done quite well, which is create boys clubs, and I think it's a power thing. Guys like to keep power to themselves. Just black people, white people. There's a lot of power things happening, and we push women out. and that's. And I'm not talking about physical power. I'm talking about control.
Yeah.
And then that's where we need to kind of break down the barriers and stuff.
But I think things, I mean, to your point, I'm just gonna say like things seem to be changing because I mean, remember back in the day, you wouldn't have a woman soccer commentator. If you saw a woman driving a huge bus, it would be like strange. Whereas now that's normal. I mean, even like I don't know if you guys know Vui Mpofu. No. I better get this right, but she has a show where she does car reviews. And it's one of, back in the day, it would be like, okay, Taboo. But I think it's called Wheels and Heels or something. I can't get the name right now.
Oh my God, what a good idea for sure.
Yeah, no, man, and she kills it, man.
Bro,
and if she was sitting next to me right now, she knows like hell a lot more about cars than I do.
Have you been in Santon? Have you seen the cars that women drive? Women buy cars, guys. It's not a guy thing anymore.
Yeah,
women are buying.
And so salespeople, you walk into a dealership. I've been in a dealership with my wife, and naturally, some guys then start talking to me, and when they start talking to my wife, they're talking about baby seats and
technical things that matter, right? Things that matter, not ego things that don't.
Look at all the groceries you can fit in the booth.
You know what I mean? And that's still going on. And you're like, dude,
do you know what they'll say when it's to a guy? Do you know what they'll say when you pull up in this? Whereas with a woman, it's like, enough baby seat space. And have you heard Carol Manana speak about the World Cup and soccer stuff? Yeah. Oh man, that woman knows a lot more about football than the average dude.
It was an interesting thing that we were faced with the campaign as well, the for Banyana.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they struggle to get sponsorship. There's a stigma that the players are lesbians because they play football, which is a weird
thing. I know that
to kind of to put
makes
them.
No sense.
And they're like, we don't understand because world rankings, we're actually doing better than the men's team.
Yeah.
So there's this thing where it's like we also, as people, we've got this natural mental block.
Yeah,
if you want to watch our national team win, they're the ones.
They're the ones who you should be, because they're closer to winning.
Exactly.
The big.
We're always complaining, and like, there's a solution.
Yeah.
So
my daughter plays soccer, by the way.
Okay.
And she's been asking about going to the Women's World Cup, which is in France next year. So if we come up on some money, you know where I'll be.
Yeah. That's okay.
Dude, I mean the whole narrative of having to, like you said earlier, decolonize the mind and remove sort of preconceived notions of people in general is a big barrier and hurdle we need to get past, But anyway.
So we need to wrap, right?
I think we can move on to rapid fire.
Yeah. Rapid fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
I like how you say that, like you know what's about to go down.
No, the trick is just to act like you know. Rapid fire. Come on. I hope you guys are ready, because I am, for some rapid fire.
What do you think it's about?
I think you're going to ask me questions rapidly, and I'm just going to have to reply back. Before we do this, I need to tell you guys something.
That's called somebody who's seen the podcast and has a very clear understanding of how it's going to go down. Tell us.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
I'm on medication. I've had tick bite fever for the last 2 months
Is
now.
it contagious?
So I might say some things.
Is it contagious?
It's too late now to ask. It's too late now. All I'm saying is I hope you guys have medical aid cover.
So if you say something flagrant, that sounds like some Tourette's thing. You must know it's the medication for the tick.
Exactly.
Okay,
if you just see me staring out into the distance, just know I'm having a mild stroke.
Chilu, is funny. I don't know why everyone who goes into this rapid fire always has to give some kind of
story,
whoa. But what if
just give it a nice name? It's fast questions. Rapid fire sounds like I'm gonna get hurt doing this. I'm like, I didn't know this was a contact podcast. I didn't bring my shoulder pads. I'm scared, you guys. Okay.
Anyway, let's get into hypervelocity bombardment. Snooze.
Yes.
So
Sorry,
basically,
did I get it right?
you got it very right.
Yeah,
and I might give you an option of 2. I might give you a sentence to finish. I might just say something random. Whatever pops into your mind when I do that or say that, jump right into it. Spontaneity is what is key. We spoke of freestyling. Here's your moment. Are you ready?
No idea.
You look like you're bracing yourself.
I'm born ready.
Just wiping the mustache there.
You got the 8 Mile jacket on.
Yeah,
Mom's spaghetti.
Back with this pack and zigzags and this bag and this weed. I'm Eminem right now.
All right, let's go.
Or Rabbit or whatever it's called.
Let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Marshall.
Beach holiday or bush holiday?
Beach holiday.
Damn.
Because of bush holidays, they gave me tick bite, so fuck the bush. Let's go. That's literally what happened.
Movies or concerts?
Movies. Because I want to be in a movie one day. So I gotta practice. Do I have to substantiate every answer? It's like
Not only the ones you feel like substantiating.
I feel like I'm in high school. Like
When you were snoozing and catching F's and everything,
why.
but English.
It's the hardest multiple choice. Okay.
I'm actually slowing down your rapid fire. Let me go.
Sorry. See how I'm changing the rules of the game to suit me. Okay, my bad.
Read a book or write a book?
Write a book because I can't read. You asked, so
You're gonna write a book that even you can't read.
I
That's
can't
gonna be-
read, and it's gonna be I can't even read.
But that's how Trevor Noah wrote his
I can't
book.
even read.
What?
He made
Can you not
someone
even
else-
read his own book?
He was just dictating the stories, and somebody, like,
Most people write.
Exactly. There's ways to write a book if you can't. Stevie Wonder wrote a book.
Can you really not read? Are you like dyslexic or whatever?
I can't read right now. I told you I'm on meds. Why do you keep bringing this up? Damn!
I am happiest when.
I'm just at home chilling with my boo thing.
What a perfect response.
Guess
When
who's getting
both
some
things
tonight?
right next to us.
Guess who's getting some
Sitting
tonight?
to the left.
Guess who's
of
getting
us.
some tonight?
All right, the final one. The final one. And I know you're that guy who's got a lot of them.
Oh,
You got a lot of both, actually.
Oh.
Accolades or power?
Power. Because you can do good things with power.
and accolades.
Accolades you can only sow when you get broke.
If that.
Tyson movie.
Best case scenario. Well, actually, no, because I mean, you can hang them up. I was going to say best case scenario. But best case scenario is you can use them to leverage power.
But if
Some
you're powerful, you don't need accolades. If like
True story.
if you're powerful, you walk in the room, people are like,
Real talk.
Here it is.
Real talk.
But then if I have to bring my accolades, I'm like, hey guys, look, I've got this one for that and that one for that. And, it's
And
like,
chances are,
you're
if you
trying
need to do that, it's because you don't have power in that
exactly,
space, right?
exactly.
You don't have power in that space, so you're bringing the accolades to get you some kind of...
Exactly. It's like
You guys are
self-glorification.
unbundling this rapid fire. Okay, last
at
one.
this.
Last one. Power or empire? Since we're doing power.
Oh, we're talking shows now.
Chilu is ridiculous.
No, man, power. Empire is just...
Wait, sorry, I'm confused. Empire is which one?
Empire is Terrence Howard and Cookie. Yeah, that's
okay.
Empire.
And then power is...
Power is
He always
Power
talks
is
like he's crying. 50
Power
Cent.
50 Cent. Yeah.
Terrence Howard always talks like he's crying. Let me tell you something, Cookie. I raised this empire out here. I'm trying to do something right for the Lions, man.
Cookie Lion.
Cookie Lion. This is the last time you're going to do this shit to me. I'm trying to raise his lions. He's always trying to raise lions. I'm trying to raise his lions, Cookie. The weirdest names.
Yeah, no, that is
Lions and
Empire
those
is
are not
hella
black
cheesy.
names.
The only lion in that... Well, yeah, Terrence is a lion, but Hakeem is a proper lion. But so is Cookie as well. She's a lion.
Hey, Empire. Oh, totally Empire.
Everybody
no,
is
man.
like
Power
lions.
is the-
The lions are all pretty much.
I remember the continuity messes me up in that show. There was one scene where they pushed someone off the balcony of a skyscraper,
I didn't
and then they
understand.
walked in again. They were like, "Listen, Terrence, it's the last time you do." I was like, "What?"
That was probably later on, right? In the scene. Yeah, they stopped caring.
It was
by
the
then.
same
By then
scene.
they're
They
rating-
pushed off the balcony. Next thing, listen, Terrence. Let me tell you something, Cook.
And you call him by his real name. No, game over. Game over. It's
Thank
the
you so
meds.
much for rocking out.
Yeah, thanks.
In
guys.
spite of
Thanks
the
for
meds
having
and
me.
the, what is it, yellow fever tick bite.
Yeah,
We
I can't even drink. I can't even drive. I'm like an Arrive Alive campaign.
Ish, bro.
I just looked at your eyes. You look like you've been.
Yeah,
No,
it's
man,
like
I'm- this is-
exhausted. Been on meds.
No, this is me laughing like throughout the show. You know what I mean? Like let me cover up with you.
It's been a really
decent.
dope show. We really enjoyed having you over.
Thanks, guys. That
I'm
was
sure you're
fun.
gonna win more luries and more incredible awards.
Thank you.
Thank you. And God bless
I
you
hope
in
so.
that journey, man.
Thank you, guys.
And
Good
God
luck
bless
for the
the
show.
union with your lady. I know you guys are about to celebrate it even more as we go along. May you have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
And may you be blessed richly with more laughs on stage as well. You know?
Guys, this was fun, man. I look forward to coming back sometime.
Yeah, man.
When I win the luries, be like, told ya.
Yeah, you're gonna rock up with accolades.
rock up with
Put it on
accolades
the table.
and power. Let me tell you something, Cookie.
Thanks, Chilu.
Bless, bro.